Hi guys, in case you're not aware, I'm Sam from the Unity of Life, and today on my channel, like you've all come back to, we are discussing the Drive to Survive episode 3. So just a little bit of a recap. We've looked at the brief history of F1, we looked at season 1, and now we're on to season 2, after having a little bit of a break. And we looked at animals, and there are still more animal videos to come, so keep an eye out for them. So we're going to continue with this Drive to Survive season 2, which occurred in 2019, and we're looking at episode 3 today. Okay, so this episode, it starts with Riccardo talking about his switch. So he's talking about going from Red Bull and switching over to Renault, which in the very first episode of this of season 2, his old team manager thought that he was joking, that he actually wasn't going to go to Renault, and that there was this like little rivalry going on within Red Bull when Daniel was actually racing for them. And like we mentioned, they're all for Max Verstappen, who is now on his 4th teammate since 2018. So it moves on from Daniel talking about his switch, and questioning himself and his decisions, and see if it was really the right thing, and was it really the right call, because let's not forget, he didn't feel like he was welcome or that he was wanted within Red Bull, even though he had been with Red Bull since he came into F1 when he was about 18. And Reynolds, they did make him feel like he was wanted and he was appreciated, but in that very first race that he actually drove for Reynolds, he then had to retire the car. So it moves on from Daniel and switches to Carlos Sainz. I think I'm pronouncing that right, I might not be. And he was, at this point in the episode, he was spending some time with his family, and he had been trying to find a team for 2019, and which they did, because he moved from Reynolds, because he got kicked out when Daniel wanted to move, and so he moved over to McLaren because one of their drivers had retired. So Carlos's teammate was Lando Norris, and I'm not sure, but this might have been Lando's rookie season. This 2019, we did see quite a few rookies coming into F1, so there's fresh blood and new faces. So Carlos and Norris and Lando, they seem to get on quite great, and they had a very healthy competitive nature between the two of them, which is apparently quite rare for teammates to have in this sport. So, which I think just shows you everything, really. So Reynolds had a few problems at the very beginning of the 2019 season. However, they were able to find out what those problems were and be able to fix the car, unlike Haas, who we spoke about in the last episode, who had a great start, but then had troubles with their car and they couldn't figure out what was going wrong. So Daniel was actually struggling to adapt to his new car, because like I said, all he'd ever known in F1 was Red Bull, and they manufacture and make their cars a lot differently to what Renault does, so it must have been really hard for him to habituate to that car. So Daniel feeling a bit down. A lot of these drivers, they do tend to seem to have personal trainers and people that they can confide in about helping them make a decision. So Daniel's personal trainer had basically, they were friends, and they had been good friends since they were about age 11, so they grew up with each other, so his personal trainer knew him better than anybody else per se, so he was ideally the one to talk to and help him go through his thought process, and to see where he stood and where he felt like he could go in the future. So on the other spectrum of this, we've got Carlos, and he felt like he had no choice but to move to McLaren if team wanted to stay in Formula 1. And I think for a driver to feel as if they don't have any other choice but to go with a team must be very devastating, because I think if you're the cream of the crop, if you're one of the best drivers then, and you're looking for a new seat, for a new team, you kind of would be hoping for lots of other teams to be coming in and trying to get you to go into theirs, and you will making that decision of which you think is going to be the best team for you, not necessarily picking a team that just has a space because you want to stay into that spot. So because he moved to McLaren, and he's actually Spanish, he had to move to the UK because there was a lot of work to be done within that team. So that again has got to be a huge decision, and must be absolutely terrifying to move from your home country to a foreign country, especially when you're away from your family and your friends and you don't really know anybody over there as such, even if it is for work purposes. So Carlos actually wanted to prove that he was a good driver, and he was going to make the best of his time with McLaren, and he wanted to prove that Reynolds made a mistake deciding to kick him out and not his teammate when Daniel opted to move over to Reynolds, but he also wanted to prove to McLaren that he did have the talent, he did have the capabilities to be racing for them, and as we know, his future was a little bit bright when he left McLaren and he went with Ferrari in the end. So in episode 4, we're going to talk about next time, because I don't have much more than this episode. So this series, don't forget, they started to switch and talk about the bigger teams as well. So we will be having a look at some of those bigger teams as well, when we come across them in this series. And I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you enjoy my content and you want to help me fight the diversity and making sure, well, not fighting against diversity, but fighting for diversity and making sure that we as human beings are all equal to one another and we are treated with the respect that we all do deserve, and you want to help me fight against animal abuse and helping to educate others about animals, then please click on my face down here, subscribe to my channel, click that notification bell so you'll be notified for every single video that I put on. The playlist for these previous F1 videos will be down here, and the previous video shall be up here. And I will see you in the next video. Bye.